hear the roads, hear them leaving, hear the door slamming.
Yeah. And was it all precipitated by steel mill, Rust Belt, manufacturing jobs leaving?
Yeah, my graduating class from high school was the last graduating class that went into the steel mills, could go right in after that. But then, of course, then they all,
Yeah, first in, or last,
right,
first out.
yep, so they're on now.
Ooh, wrapping it up.
You know, so I went to college, came back, couldn't find a job. I have an older brother and an older sister and a brother mom too. Other side of us.
Did you get some type of written policy on it or a plan?
You can close, boss.
Yeah, it is.
Changes
I'm gonna say it's 6 o'clock.
The revisions, it's on me, the revision,
5:15.
my revision.
Yep.
It's 6 o'clock.
Let me know when you're good at it.
It's 6 o'clock, so we're going to start the Board of Appeals meeting. Maybe, Dan? Good evening, everyone. We will begin our Board of Appeals meeting for the City of Holland. Board members are regular citizens of Holland who have volunteered and have been appointed by City Council to consider applications to the Zoning Board of Appeals, Housing Board of Appeals, and Construction Board of Appeals, and for accommodations for persons with disabilities. The board must interpret each application as it relates to city ordinance. The board is not empowered to rezone or take any action that could be considered rezoning. The agenda, copies available in the back, will be in order that the applications were received by the city. The presence of 4 board members is required for a quorum. It takes 4 concurring votes to approve an application. We have 5 tonight, so we should be good for that. When your application is called, we ask that you come to the microphone and state your name and address. We will hear the applicant first, and then anyone supporting the application, followed by anyone opposing it. After the public hearing is closed, there'll be no other opportunity for further public comment relating to the application. Decisions of the board are final and are effective on the day of such decisions. However, applicants may appeal decisions to the circuit court in accordance to state law. If you elect not to stay for our deliberation and discussion, you may call the Community and Neighborhood Services Department after 8:30 tomorrow morning to learn the results. Meetings are streamed online, live, and recorded, and available to view on the city YouTube channel. If our board has no objections with the agenda, will our clerk please read the first item?
Yes, so the first one is for 681 Homestead Avenue, application number 23.04Z. Holland Deacons Conference is requesting a special exception to divide the parcel they own at 681 Homestead Avenue into 2 parcels. Both new parcels would be considered flag lots with an easement to use the city right-of-way along West 29th Street. The Board of Appeals can approve this request if...
Thank you. And I believe we have the applicant here. If you'd come, please state your name and address and give us an explanation of your application, please.
Sure, thanks. Mike Baker with Naderveld. We're at 347 Hoover Boulevard. And I'm here on behalf of the Deacons Conference. Our proposal is to request approval of the flag lots, which would allow us to split the parcel that they currently own. The desire is to split that so they can do 2 separate single-family homes, one on each site, and currently neither Homestead or 29th are improved right-of-ways, and so I think that's the cause for needing the flag lot approval. So we would be requesting approval of the flag lots, and then at that point we would, if that's approved, then we would apply for the parcel split.
Great. Do we have any questions from the board?
Yes. On your site plan, it shows the road is, or the extension of 29th Street. The paved portion appears to be 12 foot if I remember. Can't see it quite there. But the minimum requirement for the easement is 20 feet. Is that your plan to provide that?
So my understanding is the driveway would get extended from the existing pavement in 29th Street. We're showing 12-foot wide for the driveway extension, which would be inside of the easement. And my understanding is the width of the easement would need to be 20 feet wide, which
Yes.
we're intending to provide.
Yep.
We have not depicted that on there because we're going to work with the city, I guess, on the exact
The way it goes, yeah.
arrangement of how that
Okay.
easement gets laid out.
Yeah, pretty much what we're doing, we're just kind of go through the criteria, you know,
Yeah.
to figure out that if you're meeting or not
Yep.
meeting those standards. So that's one of the questions.
Yeah, the proposal here is to basically have 12-foot wide of paved surface for the driveway that's coming in that will ultimately be a shared driveway for both residences and parcels.
A little out of order, but in the same vein, my understanding, and maybe staff can speak to this, is that the 12-foot wide street was a bit of a concern for the fire department. Is that a discussion here, or is that something through the approval process?
That's something that's worked out with the fire department and staff in review
So it's
of the
not
plans
required
that
here.
are submitted for construction.
Very good, thank you. So also, you have to comply with the area and width requirements for the zone district, which is LDR. And I believe you have stated that you would, and I just need you to confirm that.
Yeah, our intent is to meet the area requirements, and I think we're proposing to meet the setback requirements, depending on how that is defined in terms of front yard and so forth. But as we've drawn it up, and I'm gonna look over to the applicant, and I don't think we're asking for any other spatial variances.
Okay. And then you kind of touched on it. At this meeting, we need to determine front yard, and you are confirm what you're requesting for the front yard for me.
Yeah, our request would be to have the westerly frontage on the Homestead Avenue right-of-way be the front yard.
Okay.
That just kind of sets up nicely to have the garages be on the other side, and then that kind of minimizes the driveway length for getting up there.
And then the lots and the structures, it's your intent to be compatible and harmonious with the surrounding homes on 29th Street or
Yes.
anywhere in that area?
Yeah, the applicant actually is also the owner of the adjacent homes there, so I think they're
Okay.
invested in kind of matching the surroundings.
One of the other questions is about the additional curb cut having a negative impact on traffic. This is a very much isolated area, so I don't see that being an issue. And then water and sewer, is it your intent to have both water and sewer, city water and sewer?
Yes, we've been in contact with the BPW and talked about extending both water and sewer from the existing public mains, which are in 29th Street.
Okay. It's my understanding that you've confirmed with staff, I believe, that you'd conform with the Land Division Act.
Correct, yeah.
Yep. And that, my understanding is if we go through tonight, that you still need to apply for that lot split.
Yeah, that's my
All right.
understanding too, yeah.
I don't have any other questions. Do you have any more input or?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay. I'm good, Chairman.
Thank you. I guess at this point, we would like to open the public hearing and see if there's anyone that would speak in opposition to this. Would there be anyone willing to speak in support of this application? Once again, seeing none, I guess we would close the public hearing and ask the board if there's any more deliberation to this applicant.
One question. So these will be two different houses, two different parcels, two different houses. And the northerly lot And they're two different people, or groups of people will own them.
I think they both would continue to be owned by the Deacons Conference. Their intent is to build the southerly home first, and then when it becomes needed, they would go ahead and build the second home. But I think they continue to own the home. These are sort of foster care home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like the other home right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say the northern home would want, they'd have to get permission or a use of the
Yeah.
flag driveway, but it
Right,
won't
we were
matter, really.
discussing that before the meeting began here, and essentially there would be an easement on the first home for the driveway to get back to the second home, so the
Okay.
two, that's the same
It's the
owner,
same,
but
yeah.
they would kind of have to provide themselves a right of way for the future
Sure.
home to access, because it is a separate parcel, so that
Yeah,
would
yeah. Okay,
make
thank
sure
you.
that's available.
I wondered.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's unique in the sense that we're dividing the land, but not really dividing the ownership of it.
Correct.
In essence.
Right, correct.
So when we were looking at the two parcels that would result from splitting this single parcel, are we showing this on the YouTube video, the map currently? Be nice if
It
that's
is the
possible, but-
intent, yes.
That is the intent. So I'm wondering, there's that, we've got the property lines shown there in yellow, and that thick black line that goes across, is that where the division is going to happen?
Yeah.
All right, so then we have an
Yeah.
easement that is shown along that.
That's not actually the easement. What's depicted on the plan are the, what would be the setback dimensions, and it does show the driveway going through there as a solid line. So we'd actually have to kind of sketch in the easement.
I think it shows both, actually.
Yeah.
Because there's 25 feet designated here
Yeah.
and 25 feet designated here,
That's
oh,
the-
that's the
that's
setbacks.
That's the
Yeah,
rear
yeah,
setbacks
yeah,
for the
yeah.
lot, yes?
and 12-foot wide pavement.
Correct, yeah. So we would have to come up with a width for that easement, whether it's 12 or if they want a little extra there for the easement to cover that paving. That's not really shown at this point.
20 feet.
20 feet for the easement? Is that what it, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that would need to be.
For the driveway?
Yep.
Because no, we were just talking about the 20 feet easement, what that's gonna look like. We don't know exactly yet on
Right.
the street side of things, but then once you get up to the property, boundary here, where's that 20 feet? for
Yeah, the northern parcel
parcel?
needs 20
Okay.
feet of deeded access or legal access to
Right.
get down
It
to
would
the
be,
29th Street.
I think it would be like an ingress egress easement is usually how that works. And then this would be between the private owners of the land, so the city doesn't really, they're
We'll
not a
review
recipient
it.
of that easement.
No, we'll review it to make sure that it exists in compliance with the ordinance, but the
Yeah.
language is between the two parties.
So the access is provided to the other lot, yeah.
Except you probably would have utilities also running in that easement?
Most likely, yeah, there will be
Okay.
services in there too, yep,
Okay.
correct.
Outstanding. Any other comments from the board on the applicant?
Just to note, I know we talked about the fire approval, and we're gonna work with the fire department on meeting all their requirements. We've already had discussion with them, and the intent is to fully sprinkler the, fire suppression in the buildings. So that was pretty much the big thing that they wanted to see, so.
Yeah, a little bit that I understand. We covered that, to say at the back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be the same for both, yeah.
Right.
'Cause, yeah, otherwise they're kind of too far away from the hydrants, yeah.
Great. Then, so we've done that. I guess at this point we would be, are we at the point ready to entertain a motion for this applicant?
I'm gonna
Absolutely.
close the public hearing.
I'm sorry, let's close the public hearing. I thought we had,
Yeah, we kind of did that, but we actually opened it.
oh, we opened it again?
We allowed comments anyway.
Great. Entertain a motion on this applicant?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Anyone to second?
I support with conditions.
John?
Yeah, findings of fact. We had the discussion about the 20-foot legal access to public street, both for the first and second lot. We did confirm that the lot would conform to the zone district, the LDR, that the lots and homes would be compatible and harmonious and in character with adjacent nearby homes. Based on where this is at, it doesn't look like the additional curb cut would have any negative impact on traffic. We confirmed that city water and city sewer would be extended to these homes, and that that the split would comply with the Land Division Act. There was a statement that the applicant would still need to file for the lot split. And we didn't have the discussion, but I didn't see any opposition to having the west side of these properties being the front yard. Is that okay with Brad in the second there?
Absolutely. The
All right.
homestead right away.
Correct. And then I think it's, I think I stated, but I'll restate it, conditions. The easement or other legal agreements with the city for the use of the 29th Street public right-of-way driveway, which I kind of said in a couple different ways, but, and any other easement or other legal agreement for the north parcel across the south parcel for access to the 29th easement, basically 20-foot easement for both, et cetera. So, you got enough there, or did I jumble it up for you, buddy?
Not too bad. Could we maybe dive back into what the actual dimension requirements are for the LDR, though? I don't know that I actually heard numbers come up anywhere.
I'm gonna need some assistance on that.
The plan submitted by the applicant shows the rear yard setback at 25 feet, the front yard setback at 30 feet, and the zone district requires 20 feet off of a side yard side street, which is shown on both the south parcel and the north parcel. And then there should be 7 feet between the home and the property line, which that is also shown, and it appears that they will meet all setback requirements of the zone district.
Okay. I can concur with that, or I can repeat it.
I think your concurrence is probably fine.
All right, thank you very much.
Outstanding. So
Yeah,
we have
did
a
establish
motion.
that-
Pardon me?
We did also establish that that is when we're looking at the west, the Homestead Avenue as being the designated the front
Yeah.
of both parcels.
Yes. So we have a motion and a support. I guess it's time, can we have a roll call vote on this, please?
Yes, so the motion is to approve Bedard,
Yes.
Buzak,
Yes.
Shea,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Motion to approve passes.
Thank you. Appreciate the insight. Thank you. To move on to our second item, can we please have the read by the clerk, please?
Yes, so this is for 155 West 12th Street, application number 23.05Z. David Matthew Fry is requesting a special exception to construct a second-story addition on his home located at 155 West 12th Street. The proposed addition would be set back 4.6 feet from the west property line along the existing building line where a 5-foot setback is required. The Board of Appeals can approve this request if certain conditions are found to exist.
Thank you. And can the applicant, can you please state your name and address and give us an explanation of your application, please?
Yep, my name's Matt Fry. I live just down the street, 155 West 12th.
Yeah, like she said, we're looking to add a master suite on the rear of the house. There's an existing single-story flat-roofed addition on the back of the house. We would like to just come straight up with that. I guess it's the western wall is the one that's encroaching currently into the setback on that property line.
Great, thank you. Is there any questions from the board for the applicant?
All right, so the setback that you're looking at is 4.6 feet, where 5 is required. It's real close.
Yep.
Well, why is it so close? Why do you need that extra few inches?
By taking that second-story wall in to meet the 5-foot requirement, we're going to end up with needing to do extra design, construction materials to transfer the load weight of the roof and that second floor down to the foundation.
So the existing wall on the first floor, you're taking that straight up?
Yes.
At 4.6 feet?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also, as another consideration, there's an existing masonry chimney that goes up there. And if we bring in that wall, we'll need to block. The existing chimney is allowed to be into that off the setback where it is, but we'll need to fill in kind of a weird looking, fill that gap in basically where the second story wall goes up.
So it's safe to say if you just follow the existing path of the exterior wall here straight up, all good. If we may just abide by the setback, there's going to be a lot of extra work just for a few inches.
Yep. Right.
So, okay.
Great. Any other questions from the board? Then I would open a public hearing for this applicant. Anyone speaking in support, please come forward. Seeing none, I would ask if there's anyone to speak in opposition to this applicant. Once again, with none, I would say thank you. Let's close the public hearing on this. And once again, see if there's any deliberation from the board for this applicant.
I just have a quick question for you guys. Just to confirm, we don't need to do anything with this chimney that extends out another half foot, whatever.
We do not.
Okay.
The ordinance allows for protrusions further into the setback as long as there's dimensions and the chimney is within the requirements.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Any other questions? Then I would ask for a motion on this application.
I motion to approve with a condition.
And do I hear any support?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Motion to approve, going through our checklist here. Would the addition to the house be along and within the existing side setback line of the existing structure? And it will at 4.6 feet off the, or is that 4 feet 6 inches? 4.6 feet off of the existing property line. Is the use of the building conforming to this zone district? It is. It's residential. Is the encroachment in character with the existing neighborhood? It is. This is one of the narrower lots in the neighborhood, in fact. And will the addition to the home along the side property line be detrimental to adjoining property or the neighborhood? No, I do not believe it will. And the condition is just, of course, to have all required permits obtained before beginning construction.
Yep, I'm still in support with that condition. Yep.
Outstanding. Any other questions from the board? If not, can we please have a roll call, Mallory?
Yes, so the motion is to approve Fusak,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Bedard,
Yes.
Shay.
Yes.
Motion to approve passes.
Thank you. And with that, if we can move on to our third item. Mallory, will you please give us that application?
Yes, so this is for address 39 West 19th Street, application number 23.06Z. Josh and Katie Hauk are requesting a variance to install a paved parking pad at their home located at 39 West 19th Street. The proposed parking pad would be set back 5 feet from the street where a 10-foot setback is required. The Board of Appeals may approve this request if certain conditions are found to exist.
Thank you. Just point of clarification, we can move on without an applicant?
Absolutely.
The board can do whatever they feel is appropriate in the absence of the applicant. So if you have enough information to make a decision, you can make a decision. If you don't have enough information and would like to give them another opportunity, you can table it. I did send an email to the applicant today to remind them that the meeting was tonight.
Mallory, we didn't receive any correspondence from the applicants about their attendance at the meeting?
Nope, I didn't.
Okay,
receive
and
I'll
none,
double-check
none
my
from the
email.
neighborhood or anything from that as
We
well?
did not receive any communication about this application.
Well, I guess for formality standpoint, at this point, I would like to open a public hearing and see if there's anybody to speak in support. Seeing none, I would ask if there's anyone to speak in opposition. Once again, seeing none, I would close the public hearing as well and ask board members, I think we did rely on this in our study session, and I do not feel tabling it would be the answer, and would like to hear anybody else's comments on that as well.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I think we've got plenty of information to, we can discuss it, of course, and as we should. But I was really hoping that the applicant would come in to be able to give us some answers to questions that could help us have a further clarity as to the application we're having to read. So we still have plenty of information though.
Right. So is there any other, please?
Well, I would actually make a motion to deny this request unless there are any other.
Is there any other discussion that any other board members first would like to have on this?
I don't think so. I had some questions that I wanted to ask the applicant, which might have influenced the decision, because I'm preaching to the choir, but zoning board of appeals, we have to, we're more or less enforcement until we find these unique circumstances in these unique cases. And I'm seeing some uniqueness there. I really was hoping to kind of flush out with the applicant if that uniqueness was going to be valid enough to approve their application. But based on the evidence, the information that we have, I can see us moving
Great.
forward.
So we'll take your motion to deny and see if there's support for that, please.
Support.
Thank you. Do we, at this point, we can just ask for a roll call from Mallory on this,
We need
please?
findings of fact,
We need
please.
findings of fact.
I'm sorry, finding of facts, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. So the findings of fact are that there are some unique physical conditions and circumstances to this site due to the fact that it's kind of an ad hoc cul-de-sac. However, the current property owner did, in a sense, create this problem by building the ADU. Also, when looking at whether or not the strict compliance with the 10-foot setback from property line would be unreasonable and prevent the property from being utilized, it would not impede the use of this property. Is the 5-foot setback variance the minimum necessary, or would there be a lesser setback that would provide similar relief? I would say that no, some other amount would provide relief. And then we do not find that it would negatively impact the neighbors. But unfortunately, those three questions were in the deny side.
Great, thank you. Anything else from a findings and facts, please?
I'm just going through real quick. Hang on for a second, please. Can we just say why real quick? Strict compliance with the 10-foot setback wouldn't be unreasonable for them?
The function of the parking space at 9 feet, which would be legal and in compliance, is still functional as a parking spot.
Yep, I think I'm good.
Outstanding, thank you. So I guess, please, can we have that roll call vote now, please? Thank you.
Yes, the motion is to deny Shay,
Yes.
Fuzak,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Bedard,
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Motion to deny passes.
Thank you. Takes care of agenda items. A few things left. We'll need to approve the meetings from the April 27th meeting. Anybody to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. With that, minutes for the April 27th meeting have been approved. And our next meeting will be Thursday, June 22. And no objections to that. Someone to end the meeting tonight.
Yep, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Have a great night.
Nice job.
31 minutes.